Sunday morning vibes. Over the years, I have created my own design style for the dresses that I make. And it's based on the fact that I only make one of anything. And that's because I have a very short attention span, which means I get bored very easily and I don't like to make the same thing over and over and over again. It's also because I buy very limited fabric supplies. I buy it from a shop that does dead stock kilo sales. So when they get to the end of a fabric, they'll put what's left into these big baskets, and then you pick out what you want and you buy it based on the weight. So very often I might be picking up a length of fabric which is only good enough for one dress, or one dress and a long top, or two long dresses or two short dresses, something like that. So I have to think on my feet about how that's going to fit the person who's buying it. And I don't know who might want to buy it. It might be a size 10 who's 5 foot. It might be a size 16 who's 6 foot 2. So I need to make sure that whatever I design is going to fit everybody. So I do make my dresses with very minimal seams. I don't make them fitted, and they're designed to be altered when somebody buys. So I make them extra long, so that if you tell me you're 5'4", but you want to add 3-inch heels, I can adjust the length to suit that. If you're maybe 4'9" and you want to wear a 1-inch heel, I can do it for that. And then the other problem that I had, or that was in part solved by the way I pattern cut, is ending up with pieces of fabric left over that I can use for other things. There are not lots of little tiny bits and pieces that end up in the bin and therefore end up in landfill. They are lengths that I can do other things with. And over the last few years, and it was something that I started doing during the pandemic when I had less to do because nobody was buying anything, I started to look at those scraps of fabric and think about how I could turn them into completely different things that would also add a line to my store that was something else. And so I started to pattern cut in a way that left long, thin strips of fabric, depending on what I was making and depending on how much fabric was left over. And I would cut those into inch wide long strips, and I would braid them together. So I would plait them all together into long lengths, and then I sew them into the braided coasters that you will see on my website. And that means that I can end up with a bundle of a wide variety of fabric strips left over, and I can blend them into different colorways, and it's really good fun. It's a really good way to spend my time when I'm not making clothes, is taking all these different color strips of fabric, seeing what blends work. Maybe it'll be a complete blend all the way through. Maybe I'll do a block of one colour braid and then blend it into a new colour, so that you get a round that changes colour as it goes. And that's been a really good way to use up my fabrics, which mean I never put anything into landfill now. I never put anything into the rubbish. I keep all the bits, even if they're short lengths, because I can stitch the short lengths together, the short strips, and then keep on braiding. So nothing is ever lost. And that is a really important part of what I do, because I'm aware that the fashion industry is a very environmentally damaging industry. So in the same way that all my jewellery creations are made from broken jewellery, bits and pieces that nobody wants, and I can turn that into something rather than it going into the bin, I can do the same with the leftover fabrics from all the clothes that I make. And it's a circular economy. So I hope that's been really interesting, and it helps you to understand why I make what I make, why things look like they do, and how you can appreciate the different ways that I can work. And I can only work like that because I am a small business. I work from home. I don't work under any pressure. I don't have massive profit margins, and I'm not trying to fill an entire store. Everything is unique. And that goes for those coasters that I make as well, because it's only a limited amount of fabric if I've only made one garment from one type of fabric. So I hope that that helps fill in some gaps into my design styles, and I hope that helps you appreciate how I work and what I do. Hope that's been useful. Thank you for watching.